Hello y'all, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and now it's time to make a great drink to celebrate those holidays. It's a delicious eggnog, easy to make from scratch. And now grating the nutmeg. Freshly grated nutmeg. Now we're about to separate the yolks and the whites. So here we are. It's a good idea to use a different container than the final container to separate the yolks and the whites, just in case that in the process you have a little piece of eggshell that falls into the product. It's easier to remove. You don't mix it with the batch of the product. So we will now just separate them, then move them to containers that we want to cook with. Take a bowl with a fairly sharp, thin edge so to get a clean cut in the shell and give it a good clean whack. Like so. Then you turn it so you don't spill the white. You open it carefully. And when you open two eggshells like this, there is always a smoother shell here. And then you just roll the egg on a smaller egg so that you do not burst it. And here I just demonstrated what not to do and busted it. So I'm very careful not to get any yolk in the white, nevertheless. And I still have a clean white and a yolk with a little bit of white left. I'm going to try to do better on a second one. This is just to show you what not to do. I probably hit a little sharp edge here. We're gonna do better the next one. Again, good whack, open it, watch those sharp edges, and then just roll it where there is no sharp edge. Once or twice. Just roll it from one shell to the next. Do not drop it or you would burst that yolk. So this is a good one, good demonstration right here. Now you have a very clean yolk with no white that goes with the yolks and no trace of yolk in the white. And that is really what you want to achieve, because if you try to do a meringue with your white, the yolk is fat and that will prevent the meringue. We're going to do some kind of a meringue too. We're going to whip these whites and they don't whip well once they have a little bit of yolk or a little fat in them. So here we are. Yolk and white have been separated now. Now we are gonna get ready to whip the white. For this, I'm gonna take a bowl here and I want to show you sugar, white. This is a portion of the sugar that we measured for the recipe. I just need a little bit for the white. This is the machine I'm going to use for this demonstration. This is an old classic, old antique, if you will. Well, this is a modern one, but I mean, I've seen my mother use that back in the days. The beauty of this is that it's very green. You do not need electricity at all. You just use man or woman power. That's how we're gonna whip our eggs. Of course, you could use a regular whisk or your electric beater, whatever you use to whip cream and anything that's light with a whip attachment, right? But I thought this would be fun to show you something different. You want to go green? Let's give it a try. Now I'm pouring the white so I can make sure this way that I do not have any little piece of shells. I pour it slowly, and if there were shells in there, I would see them and keep them in the bottom of that receptacle. No shell. I'm gonna put a little bit of sugar in it to what's called in the industry to grease the white, which is kind of ironic that you would say that because you don't want grease in the white. But anyway, we're gonna get started here, and there we go. Whipping those whites with that very green machine. It's gonna take a few minutes. This meringue will lighten up your eggnog. Look at this. Isn't that wonderful? There we go. Whipping this white, incorporating air into the white. Create a foam that will fold in the drink to give it a lighter, frothy texture. It also allows to utilize the product. So you don't use just the yolk for flavor, but also the white. No electricity needed. And we're gonna get to what is called soft dip. Another thing I need to add is that you want your egg white to be a little warm, at least room temperature, not cold out of the refrigerator. You can place the eggs for a little while in warm water to warm them up a little bit before you proceed. The whites will whip up better when they are at room temperature. So you can see that it's getting fluffier. As you can see, that little device is working pretty nicely. Of course, you could do this in a bowl. If I was using a hand whisk, I could not use this shape. I would use something more rounded in the bottom. Giving more volume. Easy peasy. Remember, these are small farm fresh eggs that I trust, and I use the eggs sometimes raw without. I do not have an issue with that. However, if you have any concern with any raw egg product, all you do is purchase pasteurized egg yolks, pasteurized egg whites. You can find them separately in the freezer section of your grocery store. This way you play safe and you do not have to cook the product. I've seen a lot of recipes out there. They tell you to poach or lightly cook like a vanilla sauce, creme anglaise, your yolk. And then they tell you to use the white and just make a meringue with the whites, keeping them raw to whip them up, like I'm doing now. So it doesn't make sense to cook the yolk parts and then you still fold in some raw egg whites in there. Also, it's a good idea to do your meringue and then fold it pretty quickly. So make sure that everything is ready for you so that you do not let the meringue sit, or it will separate and break. You have to whip it again. There we go. That's plenty. Great. Still a soft peak. Good to go. Ready to be folded in.
Everything is now ready, so let's get us started. So let's see what we get here. We got the sugar, we got the grated nutmeg, the ground cinnamon, vanilla extract. You see the egg yolks, and then now we got the cream, the milk. For last, we have your favorite liquor that you'll add to the eggnog. Omit this part should you wish to have a non-alcoholic or virgin eggnog. Now you see the whipped egg whites with a little bit of sugar. So it's all here ready to go. Mise en place means everything ready, everything prepared, so you are ready for the assembly. First, let's incorporate the sugar a little at a time so as not to burn the yolk. It's a chemical reaction that happens and the sugar burns the yolk. So we whisk it in a little at a time and whisking it well until all the sugar is added, blanching the mixture with a whisk. Now we're adding the nutmeg, cinnamon, you may decide to hold back a little bit on those spices. You can always add more after you taste the product, but you cannot take it away, so you adjust it to your liking. Now we're adding the cream. Add the cream, whisk it in, then the milk, a little mixing so it's all uniform, the vanilla, and that would be all the flavor you would add if you decided to keep it virgin, non-alcoholic. Now we will add just notice that the meringue began to separate a little bit, so I'm re-whipping it prior to incorporating it into the final product. The only last thing will be to add the liquor if you desire to do so. Incorporating the egg whites, fold them in with a whisk, nice and fluffy. I will add my spice rum, and that also can be added as desired to taste. And now it is time to pour it in the glass of your choice. Here I use a snifter. Great texture.
And now for the best part. Finally, the long-awaited eggnog. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy whatever you celebrate with your family, friends. loved ones, let's enjoy a good, flavorful eggnog. Cheers. Enjoy, but remember, drink responsibly. Have fun. Oh my, smooth, flavorful. Nothing says holiday better than a good eggnog from scratch. See you soon. Delicious.